What's up, fam? I just want to come to y'all with another video. I want to talk about discernment and how discernment is high key a superpower in today's age. Now, here's the thing. Check me out. Here's the thing. Discernment shouldn't be a superpower. Like it should just be something normal for you to have, right? Yeah. But because of the time period that we in and the society that we are in, most people don't have discernment. Most people don't have discernment. So, which is why I say discernment is a superpower. Because you got to think about it. We're in the age of information. We're in the age of information. And, you know what I'm saying? You can find damn near anything you want to know, you can find it. But with being in the information, with having all this knowledge, with having all this information at your fingertips, you got to be able to discern what you need and what's important to know right now in these times. It's so much information, it's just information to give you mental orgasms, just you know what I'm saying? But what information is prevalent to the times that we in right now? Cause like I said, it's information about everything out here. You can get lost in just studying different things and stuff like that and getting caught up with just knowing information, but you're learning a bunch of information that can't help you or help you progress in the times, in the current day times that we're in now. So yeah, you know all this information, but you need to have discernment on what you need to put your attention on. And you need to have discernment on what you believe, what you even take as truth. Because there's a lot of stuff being put out here. You got to be able to look through that veil of, just because the media tell you something, just because some, you know what I'm saying, medical professionals or whoever tell you something, you need to have that discernment and say, hey, yeah, I know these people have their credentials or whatever, but why can't, maybe let me just look on my own and just, double check. Why not? Let me double check. Let me vet the information. And once you get to that point of doing that with everything, all information that you receive, you go behind it and do your own research. You use your own intuition as well. And intuition has a huge part with discernment, but a lot of people can't unlock their divine intuition because they haven't within with themselves, and they're so reliant on outside media. Because a lot of stuff that happened these past couple years that went down, I ain't really even need to research. It was just one of them feelings like, nah, that don't seem right. It just ain't seem right. And 99.9% of the time I was right. And I only say 99.9% of the time because I can't remember if it was a situation where I was wrong in, but I just leave room for me to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I leave room for me to be wrong if I was to be wrong in a situation. But for the majority of the time, I was right based just off solely on my discernment. Now, once I mix my intuition along with me actually going to do the research as well, then it's like you can see through the veil of a lot of different things, bro. But when you're so dependent on somebody else telling you what things are and how things should go, you've become so dependent on something that's outside of you, on a system that's so outside of you, on information that's outside of you. And I'm not saying you can't learn from other places and other people, but what I'm saying is when you become solely dependent on receiving your information from other people and not fact checking these things, not doing your research behind these things, not having discernment on what to absorb and what not to absorb. See, when you got that discernment, you can see. This is the thing about discernment. Perfect example, Charleston White. A lot of people don't like Charleston White. I love Charleston White because I have discernment. So when Charleston White goes to talking on his tangents of, where he kind of clowns the media because he knows that's what gets people triggered. which is a marketing tactic. He knows he's gonna get people triggered, so he talks a certain way. He talks in a wild manner for a certain on purpose. But at that same time, he start dropping gems in between those, times where he be, kind of trolling in a sense. So while you're paying attention to the trolling, I'm paying attention to the game that Charleston White's dropping. You know what I'm saying? So when you have that discernment, you don't get caught up in when a person trolling and whatnot. Like I've developed this switch in my head to where it's certain people that I listen to that I know when to cut off, you know what I'm saying, my absorption, and I know when to cut it back on. Cause I know when to pick back up when that person gets to talking about that, real life things and real stuff instead of just, getting people in an uproar. See, it's tactics that these people use, but you gotta have that discernment to be able to see through that and be able to understand, like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing. I see what he's doing. So let me zone out right here. Okay, let me pick that jewel up. Let me pick that jewel up. Let me pick that jewel up. I'm gonna zone out right here. I'm gonna go back to doing what I'm doing. Going back to doing what I'm doing. Oh, there goes some more gem. Let me pick back up right here. Boom, 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 boom. Even when I'm talking to regular, everyday people, I know how to zone in and zone out of conversations. Or I know how to grasp information and leave certain information. It's called taking the meat and leaving the bones. Take what you need from that person. See, y'all be getting all in y'all feelings to where y'all get attached. Y'all get emotionally attached to y'all ideas. So when you become emotionally attached to your ideas, you can never really become a true thinker. You can never really grow in thought and in knowledge because you've attached your emotions to your ideas and your thought process. But when you can separate your emotions from your ideas and the things and your beliefs and your thought process, they become two separate entities. So now you can operate on the realm of really accepting or indulging in different ideologies and different paradigms because your emotions isn't attached to the things that you believe in. The things you believe in is just the things you believe in, but you're not emotionally attached to it. You've separated them, So like I was saying with Charleston White, a lot of people don't have that discernment, so they get caught up in, and it'd be so funny too. I just like, y'all really not listening to him. Y'all can't be, because if y'all were, this who y'all really would be rocking with. But because he pulls on the emotions of the black community, he's exposing the things that the black community that has been priding our culture on for the longest, or has just been trying to push under the rug while they go out and scream Black Lives Matter. He's pulling back that rug and like, hey, look at this. And he's trolling you at the same time. So I don't get caught up in the trolling because he's speaking real fact. I know how to use that. I know how to use discernment where I'm like, okay, Charleston White doing his thing where he make his jokes and clowning people. But at the same time, he's still dropping his game. So I'm going to use that discernment tool where I know when to pick up that game and be on my way. Like he said, he going to drop game on the ground for the hungry hound. You just got to be smart enough and hungry enough to pick it up. And you can't be smart enough if you in your feelings trying to accumulate knowledge. Come on, man. Come on. And this is why I say discernment is a superpower. Discernment is a superpower. Most people like being fed the information, or most people like just accepting things how they are in full. But majority of the time, I don't agree with everything any person say. Like everything a person say, it's a high possibility I'm not gonna agree with everything that they say. That's where discernment comes in. And just because I don't agree with that person on that certain thing, I'm not finna try to change that person's mind on, try to change his mind to where it aligns with my mind. But if he just drops some game that I can apply to my structure, my mindset, I'm gonna take that. I don't need nobody else to think the exact way I think. I don't need nobody to believe in the things I believe in. None of that. I promise. I've never tried to change somebody else's beliefs. Even since I got on this spiritual journey, bro, I've never tried to change nobody's beliefs. Cause one is free will. Two, it's just like, if I'm speaking with somebody and they have knowledge that I could still apply to my life, I don't care what they believe in. That's their life. Now, if they ask me about, certain practices and spiritual practice, that's a different thing. But I'm not finna up and just, hey, you need to. No. Discernment, man. You develop discernment. And just think about it. Most people really don't have discernment. Like, most people can't really even differentiate what's real and what's facade. Like, even on social media, people don't have that discernment to be able to, because I be calling a lot of people bluff on social media. I just be saying it within myself, like, oh yeah, that's because I have that discernment on all levels. Like, even on social media, you could see through a person, they trying to, give off a certain lifestyle. They just be like, when you see past the surface level, and that's all discernment is, being able to see past that surface level, being able to peel those layers back. And that's all these past few years have been about, being able to peel these layers back, things that's been happening. Okay, yeah, this is what happening on the surface, but let me peel this layer back. Okay, let me peel another layer back. That's something different too. Let me put another layer back. Each layer reveals something new. And a lot of these situations and things that's present in the media, it be having so many different layers to it. But most people stop at the surface level. At most, some will go to maybe the second layer of it, but they never really get underneath them layers for real of a lot of these situations and things that go on a day-to-day basis. Having discernment, not just accepting and taking things that's thrown in your face as truth all the time. Sometimes pause and be like, hold on, let me think on that. I've done that a lot these past 3 years because there's been so many changes and so many things that has been just thrown in our faces. Just like, oh, you gotta accept this, you gotta accept this. No, wait a minute. Let me think on this. Let me use my discernment. Most people were just like, okay, yeah, I'm whatever. Nah, not me, bro. And to each his own. I'm just saying, not me, guys. Because when you move like that, you find yourself in situations, and by that time you realize you done got up in that situation where you wasn't using discernment, it's too late by then. You was just going with the flow too much. You was just going with whatever, you know what I'm saying, they was telling you to go with. But once you unlock that discernment, it's like you step into a whole different world. Because you're able to use discernment across multiple planes. You're able to use discernment on the woman or the men that you come in contact with and on the dating scene. That's why most young ladies I even encounter with, it don't go too far. Because I'm able to use that discernment like, yeah. They're like basically talking about my last video. Discernment plays a factor into that, being able to see like past that veil of, even when they put up the facade of, being in a certain way, it's like, I see through it. You know what I'm saying? It's just when you got that true discernment intuitively, it's just like, and the thing about it, when you got discernment, you can't unsee things once you've seen it. Like, you can't turn a blind eye to it no more because you're able to dissect what it is and what it ain't. Like, I'd be a fool to still go along with it, even when I see what it's really for. But a lot of people really can't see. A lot of people really can't see. And when I say see, I ain't talking about these two eyes. I'm talking about that third eye. That third eye, when that discernment develops in, were you able to, nah, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. Something ain't right there. Then majority of the time, like I say, 99.9% of the time, you be right. But a lot of people just go with the flow of whatever is the popular decision. That's what people go with. And just me personally, I ain't never been afraid just to go my own way. Like, I've kind of been like that my whole life. I've never needed nobody else to validate my decisions, because I was always so confident in my decisions for good reason, because I took a step back and was like, hold on, let me really, because I really looked at situations, not just the surface level, but beyond the surface type. So I've always been content with the decisions I made and the ideology that I've developed, because it wasn't based off anything that was um fly by, or anything that doesn't have foundation, or real substance behind it. Anything I do, any idea that I come up with, any thought process that I develop, it has substance. It has a level of being able to move away from the crowd, and see what things are really for. See what things for what they really are, you know. That all comes back down to discernment. Discernment is a superpower in 2023. Really, for the last couple years, discernment been a superpower. Cause I didn't realize how much people didn't have discernment until these last couple years. You know, because I've always kind of had a level of discernment, so I thought it was kind of normal. I thought it was like people, it was a normal thing for people to have discernment. But these last couple years really exposed a lot of people in terms of this discernment level, and who has and who don't. And these coming years is gonna really show the ones who had discernment and the ones who didn't. The ones who wasn't, wasn't, I guess in a sense, afraid to take a step back, or wasn't afraid to possibly go against the grain of things, in a sense. You feel me? But hey, man, if you have discernment, continue to develop it. If you lacking in discernment, try to start working on it, because you're gonna need your discernment. And like I say, your discernment starts with everything starts within. Your discernment starts within. It starts with you getting in tune with your intuition. The only way you can get in tune with your intuition is knowing who you are. When you have that, the better your connection is with your inner self, the higher intuition is, and the more accurate it becomes. Because a lot of people, they'll try to use their intuition, but their intuition be inaccurate because they're not in tune with their inner self. So your intuition can't really be operating at a high level until you become aligned and in tune with that inner you. You feel me? So, hey, man, discernment is a superpower. Get you some of them powers, man, because you're going to need them. Peace.